Former Trinidad and Tobago Attorney General makes his first court appearance. And in sport, Windies warned not to be complacent ahead of the final and deciding test against England. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, September 1st. I'll be back with the details in just a moment.
By the way, we appreciate all of your questions, comments, and concerns. For all of our viewers out there watching across the globe, we really appreciate the response. Thanks for all the love. My man right here, sweeping the nation right now.
Yes, sir.
With this hot single, white girl voice.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right.
sir.
Chi-Town is in the house.
Chi-Town.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
A little bit of taste of Chicago.
Just a little taste.
Just a little taste, right?
Taste of Chicago.
There we go.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. You know, white girl voice is what it's all about.
Cage football has built up a strong following in parts of Europe. It was introduced to Jamaica recently via the Hydrate Cage Football Challenge. The grand final took place at Mandela Park in Kingston on August 13. Cage football takes one of the best-loved games on the planet and crams it into a fast-paced and in an exciting 3 minutes.
Former Trinidad and Tobago Attorney General Alan Ramlogan made his first court appearance this morning on charges of misbehavior in public office and attempting to pervert the course of justice. As he emerged from the Port of Spain Magistrates Court, Ramlogan told the media he anxiously awaits the day when the people who have made allegations against him are cross-examined in court.
It's been a very harrowing and distressing experience to be subjected to the execution of a search warrant with such a large contingent of police officers at my home. My primary concern now is for my young children and my family, and I intend to protect them and to ensure that this trial does not affect them. Other than that, I intend to continue doing what I've always done, that is to fight for justice at my law firm come Monday morning bright and early.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is condemning as reckless opposition comments that the arrest of Ramlogan is intended to intimidate, to oppress and suppress the independent voices. The statements were made by Dr. Rudal Monilal, former Chief Whip under the People's Partnership Government of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Monilal said searching the house of a former Attorney General in a matter that is over 3 years old is abuse. But Dr. Rowley, who spoke to the media yesterday, said the statements could lead to racial divisions in the country.
Named a number of East Indians who had been through the court process and attaches this recent development to it and is indicating to the country that law enforcement in this country is based on your racial complexion. Today I condemn that statement, and I call upon the wider national community to take note and to condemn this and similar statements, because it is this kind of statement that creates division in a country like ours, the consequences of which can be quite grave if they go unchallenged.
One of the prisoners who escaped custody when Guyana's main prison was burnt down in July was shot and killed by law enforcement officials late last night. Police today confirmed the death of Yuri Vaswick, an ex-cop who was accused of murder. Acting Police Commissioner David Ramnarayan said he was killed during a joint service operation in Linden. Vaswick and another escapee, Mark Royden Durant, were seen together in the Central Amelia's ward area. Police said they opened fire on the joint services, who returned fire. Vaswick, who was dressed in a military vest and boots, was fatally wounded. A 9mm pistol and 40 live rounds along with a backpack were found near his body. Police said a bag containing toiletries, medical supplies and a gas mask was also discovered. During the incident, Durant got away. Police are searching for him and praised residents for providing information as efforts continue to capture the remaining prisoners on the run. Still in Guyana, President David Granger is calling for respect for the office of the presidency at all times, regardless of who sits in the chair. He made the call yesterday as he received the report of the Commission of Inquiry into an alleged plot to assassinate him. The commission, which was headed by Paul Slow, was tasked with investigating and reviewing the full range of the actions and responses of the Guyana Police Force to the assassination plot reports and the extent to which such actions were conducted or executed with due diligence. We get more in this report from Javon Vickery of HGP Nightly News.
Chairman of the Commission, retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow, confirmed to the media that recommendations were submitted to the relevant authorities pertaining to actions considered appropriate in light of the findings of the Commission. Mr. Slow further noted that the terms of reference of the Commission had been achieved, but he didn't think it prudent to disclose anything about the recommendations.
No, I can't share the recommendations, but there were several recommendations as the terms would have indicated that a part of the mandate was to make recommendations, and recommendations have been made.
The chairman stated that all the evidence that came before the commission were reviewed and that the appropriate steps will be taken in due course. Meanwhile, President David Granger was asked by the media about whether he was surprised about the details which were revealed during the hearings. This is what the head of state had to say.
Newspaper reports sometimes, might not be exactly what the commission would report.
A regional cricket analyst believes consistency is key for the West Indies as they are seeking to beat England in the third and final test. Stay with us. You get more of that sports story when we come back.
Some changes have been made to ensure the safe flow of traffic at the intersection of Orange Hill Road and Claude Noel Highway. Motorists can no longer merge from the highway onto Orange Hill Road and into the MP gas station. Delineators, the yellow-colored posts, have been installed to prevent this illegal turn.
Initially, when we widened the roadway and we marked it, we expected that the population knew what the markings meant.
Well, you went through a hell of a time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bring us back to that day when you were told to go clean up on the ground below a scaffold, right?
Yeah.
What happened? What do you remember from it?
What I remember is I was starting to work and the foreman told me to bend down and clean up the debris that's under the scaffold. So I started cleaning up the debris to throw it out into the dumpster. So while I'm doing that, I'm bending over because everything is low.
A regional cricket analyst believes consistency is the key for the West Indies if they are seeking to beat England in the third and final test at Lord's. Commenting on the Windies' recent historic victory at Headingley, Dr. Ashshai Ramsingh warns the Caribbean men of becoming complacent in the third test since their performance in the second test was still not up to par.
The batting has to step up, right? We're still having some problems with some of the other batsmen, but take a Kyle Hope, for example, whom I have a lot of hope for in the future. Getting run-outs for 0 because it ricocheted off of the bowler and so on. You have instances like that. The point is, for those batsmen on form, they've got to continue performing as they're in form. In other words, you've got to score as much as you can. For the Blackwoods, who can make it to 40 with ease, the coaches have to sit down and explain to them that 40 can be converted to 100. And the others are there for their ability, so they've got to believe in themselves. So the point is, yes, it was a one-off victory. It was a very good victory. There's every likelihood that the West Indies could be steamrolled in the third test, but at least they've given us a bit of hope.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Have yourselves a good afternoon.